Hello there, this is Ron Wills coming back at you with yet another video. A man's personality can enhance or diminish his attractiveness. And what I mean by that, of course, personality is a part of it, your overall attractiveness. But let's be real, the first thing they see your face and body. They see how you dress and everything. And it was interesting. I had a conversation. I was having a fun conversation with a lady friend of mine yesterday, and she know who she is, and and she was like, tell me about this guy that worked at this place that she was working, and she was telling me about him and his brothers, and she was like, yeah, they were very physically attractive. She was going on and on about it. But she couldn't stand them. She couldn't stand them because she was like, they were vile human beings. So yeah, on one level, she looked at them and said, oh yeah, very attractive. But on another level, she was turned off. See, understand something. Your personality enhances your physical attractiveness, or it diminishes it. Indeed, often with a man, if he's of average looks but great personality, many women will fall for him. They'll say, oh, he grew on me, because that's very important. See, now some people will think, oh, it don't matter. As the bait, no, it's tough for it to be a bait. They would have to be in a position to get to know the woman, but it matters very much. See, understand with women, yes, they are going on a man's physical attractiveness. That's just part of what they're looking at. But what do I always say women will say? He was fine until he opened his mouth. See, that's why you get a lot of guys and they'll say, well, I'm tall, I'm handsome, I got a great body, what's up? It's the personality. And see, it can actually enhance your physical attractiveness or diminish it. For example, okay, you tall, handsome, been watching Ron's body game videos. You've been like styling yourself up. All right, you meet the woman, and then when she talks to you, like here's usually the thing. Here's a common generic scenario. Okay, you somewhere out. It could be online or it could be out. You meet the woman, and it's just like, oh, he fine, and the initial impression is great. But then when you actually go on a date, that's where it loses out at. The woman is like, well, he's cool, but what he's talking about, she don't like your politics, your religion and everything. And just to be clear, a smart man is doing the same thing. A smart man is doing the same thing. But some men aren't. Some men just, as long as she fine, she can be wearing, she can say whatever, as long as he think he can hit it. But women by nature, they always looking at the physical aspect, of course, but then they also looking at the emotional aspect. How do you make her feel? Do you click? Can y'all have a conversation? Is she laughing and everything? And that's where a lot of guys are missing out on. Now, some people might call it just a conversation, and some people might call it the mouthpiece. All it is just the personality clicking. That's all it is. And indeed, let me get back into, because I've said a lot about like just average looking men doing something with women. The thing they always have is their personalities will click with the particular woman. And it will click to the point where all of a sudden, if she used the number system, women really don't, they use adjectives. Let's just say he's decent, he's decent looking to her. Let's start, you got to start seeing it the way a woman will see it. Then you understand better. So she look at a guy and say, he decent. He all right. But then she get to talking with him. She find out what he about. She gets comfortable, relaxed. All of a sudden she'd be like, he's fine. And that actually happens a lot. See, here's the thing. I want y'all to really get into a deeper thing. Understand something. Relationships ultimately come down to personality compatibility. Let me say that again. They ultimately come down to personality compatibility. Now, if all you want from a woman is just quick sex, oh yeah, just look good. Just look good and have the right circumstances to make it happen. Yeah, But let's just be real. Most men want a relationship. Most men want a woman to be in partnership with. You know, they ain't trying to just have the good old fun and everything. Shoot, that's why so many men want women with low counts. Because if a man just wanted just sex from a woman, if most men just sex, a high count actually makes it easier. But most men want a steady relationship. They want cooperation. But all of that still comes down to the personality. Do the people click? And see, there's not enough emphasis on that. You know, like if you having problems, it's not always what you look like. Some guys think, well, the women just thought I was this or that. Okay. Is it that? You know, because I've seen, and because, my lady friend had mentioned something about a guy like that, but had anybody else said anything like that? I've heard it tons of times. Women that talk about a particular guy and they'll say this and they say he look good, but there's these problems and everything. That's because that's just a woman's nature. The emotional part, you can't get past that. That's why I've said, you got the guys who are average looking who getting the women. That's why I said, shoot, pimps, preachers, politicians, they reaching a woman's emotions. But part of that is the personality. They liking the personality. That's why a lot of guys, they will ask about like, oh, I look good. Or some guys be like, well, I got all this money. She don't click with you. And you know what? Here's the thing with that. Very important to understand. It don't matter if she don't click. That's actually a good thing if you find out you don't click with her. Because a lot of guys don't realize, hey, you dealing with that woman. The worst thing you can do is deal with a woman who you don't click with, personality-wise. Like I said, if all you want is just quick sex, it don't matter. But if you want beyond that, you have to click. I remember a woman I had dealt with a few years ago. Oh, the physical connection was great, but our personalities, the best we probably could have been was like friends long term. Best we could have been. Good person, but the best we could have been was friends, because our personalities for a relationship, it was just, it's like, no. And here's the thing. A lot of guys, if you're having problems, you really need to look at your personality, particularly in regards to how you engage with women. Because there's a lot of guys, I've gotten a lot of feedback from women. Remember, I got a significant amount of clients who are women. And it's always like, this guy's saying this, or he's doing this, or something about like his beliefs don't click with hers, his personality. And it always comes down to that. And I'll ask him straight up, well, is he ugly? He's like, nah, he looks good. But it's always something else. So it's like, that's why I've even said, you got to work on your mindset. You got to say, okay, what is it about my personality that women are having trouble with? And you got to look at yourself. You could be too hard on them. You could be too harsh. I've gotten some feedback about men I've known from the women they've tried to get with, and I just know everybody, y'all. And they always say, nah, he's real harsh, or, he's doing this. It's always a personality. So if you're having trouble, you got to really honestly look at your personality. Okay, what is it about what I'm doing that they might not be feeling? Is it a certain attitude I need to work on? Or, and it's not always a bad thing, maybe you need to be more assertive. Maybe women respond better if you are more taking action, taking charge, if you're leading. But you got to look at it. It still come down to it. It still come down to the personality. All right? So, yeah, the bait is great. Hey, please work on the bait. I say you got to get them over there, but then you got to keep them. And they can't see your personality, of course. They do have, you guys still have the bait to get them over there. But then once you're there, you got to keep them around. And that's on the personality. Because I know some people think, well, looks. After a while, like I put it like this. How many men have met a fine woman? Think about it. Just think about it. You don't have to put anything in the comments. But how often have you met a fine woman, then once you get to know her, she ain't start looking as good? Because once you see, thing is, once you get over that initial thing, you start getting used to it. Then you start seeing stuff. So women are even more so like that. So think about your personality. You got to deal with that aspect. All right. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Peace and blessings.